morning to you on this Saturday morning, January the 31st. And we are in a section now, the last couple of days, dealing with justice. Yesterday's was Justice Reflects the Character of God. Today, on this Saturday, the 31st, the last day of January, our devotion is entitled Justice is Right Relationships. And the quote, the scripture passage comes from Job 29, verses 12 through 17. I rescued the poor who cried for help, and the fatherless who had none to assist them. The one who was dying blessed me. I made the widow's heart sing. I put on righteousness as my clothing, justice, there's that mishpat word, with, we're getting a Hebrew lesson here, was my robe and my turban. I was eyes to the blind and feet to the lame. I was a father to the needy. I took up the case of the stranger, and they put that in parentheses, they put immigrant. I broke the fangs of the wicked and snatched the victims from their teeth. I'm assuming that's God saying those things. I don't think Job was able to do that. But here's the thoughts that come on this from Tim Keller. We must have a strong concern for the poor. But there is more to the biblical idea of justice than that. We get more insight when we consider a second Hebrew word that can be translated as quote unquote being just, though it usually is translated as being righteous. The word, and I have never taken Hebrew classes, Tzaddeqah. I'm not going to attempt it. That's the word anyway, and it refers to a life of right relationships. Bible scholar Alec Moiter defines righteous as those right with God and therefore committed to putting right all other relationships in life. This means then that biblical righteousness is inevitably social because it is about relationships. When most modern people see the word righteousness in the Bible, they tend to think of it in terms of private morality, such as sexual chastity or diligence in prayer and Bible study. But in the Bible, that word I can't pronounce, refers to day living in which a person conducts all relationships in family and society with fairness, generosity, and equity. It is not surprising then to discover, I'll give it a shot. It is not surprising then to discover that Tzaddeqah and Mishpat are brought together scores of times in the Bible. When these two words, again, I have to try and say it again. When these two words, Tzaddeqah and Mishpat, are tied together, as they are over 36 times, the English expression that best conveys the meaning, wait for it, social justice. That's the best definition, the best English phrasing for those two Hebrew words being put together, social and justice. It's a big topic these days, isn't it? There's a strong feeling that social justice is not being paid attention to enough. Law has become a self defined thing for some people. Social justice, right relationships. It's an interesting way to think about it. I wish Hebrew words were easier to pronounce, um, especially that one with a Tzaddeqah. I have no idea how that would sound in Hebrew to pronounce it. So we'll just leave it there. You can spell it out for yourselves and take some shots at it, I guess. But it is generous justice that our God gives us. always generous. That's one of his characteristics. He's poured out on us so many things that we really don't deserve, but he gives them to us anyway. And that's part of his character. That's part of who he is. That's his generous side that we can never take for granted. Certainly should not be abusing. As Paul said, should we sin more because we're under grace? No, absolutely not. And just as we should not try to take advantage of our God's grace toward us. Right relationships. I like the point he made that when our relationship with God is right and on an even keel, for lack of a better phrase, we also want to carry that over into all the other relationships in our life. Again, that was a quote from Alex Moiter, defines righteous as those, quote, right with God and therefore committed to putting right all other relationships in life. All other relationships in life. That's a good way to live, to never have something hanging between you and another person, or you, especially you and another family member, can be difficult. And so we want our relationship that we have, all the relationships we have in our life, to be well lived, to be glad about them, and to be glad those people are in your life, and hopefully they're glad to have you in their life also. It's what we should strive for, to be those kinds of people that reflect God's goodness, God's love, God's righteousness, God's justice, and that we should care about that and pursue it. Pursue it for the hope of others who need to know that their God is a just God. Blessings to you today. I have no idea, since I record these the night before, I have no idea what the weather's going to be tomorrow other than cold. I don't know that we're supposed to be getting any snow through tomorrow and Sunday, but we are going to get some pretty cold air. So get out your warmest clothes and double layer for getting out tomorrow and then on Sunday as well, I'm guessing. Blessings to you today.